You ask questions. Okay. You gotta raise your hand. Who is the only two-time player of the week in the NBA? Who can answer that? No, don't yell it. Don't yell it.
De'Aaron Fox.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
De'Aaron Fox.
De'Aaron Fox. Okay. We got a second question. Who is not on anybody's freaking MVP list right now?
Don't say De'Aaron Fox, my man. Are you kidding?
I haven't seen one.
He's on my list.
Okay.
He's on mine,
Put your list out. Put your list out. Put your list out. Thank you. That's all I had was 2 questions.
Coach, tonight's game, right in the middle. Mike.
Gotcha.
Tonight's game, you said you're trying to treat it a little bit like a playoff mentality with your guys. Does that include minutes as well with these guys? Like, are you expected to have De'Aaron maybe play 40 minutes, or is he will he be closer to like the 30, 33 mark?
I think it's just the flow of the game. If it warrants for him to play 40 minutes, he will. But if it doesn't, then he won't. So I don't. I'm not going in saying he's going to play 40.
Mike, you've spoken a lot about your decision making to have Malik Monk consistently coming in off the bench, but I don't know if you've spoken about his willingness to step into that role and provide what he does when he seems more than capable of starting. How important is that to have someone who's willing to embrace the role the way he does?
It is off the charts important. I've said this before. I said our group is connected. I really feel that our group's connected, and we have a lot of guys that do a lot of different things that help us be connected, and we have to. We don't have 2, 3, 4 right now. Hall of Famers that are in their prime or anything like that they can go get it. They've been around the block, and we have young guys that are still trying to find their way. And when you're trying to find your way, the reality of it is this league can set you up for life, not just you, your family, and all this other stuff. And so there's a lot at stake, and guys are antsy about their minutes. They're antsy about their touches and shots and all that other stuff. And so for Malik to embrace his role of coming off, and we sit down in front, and everybody per man goes down the line and his role's up on the board, and he reads off his role because he's part of putting that together. And they got to either say they accept it, they reject it, or they embrace it in front of their teammates, so that nobody has any questions whether we're doing good or bad or what this man's role is. And so for Malik to do that, it just helps us at the end of the day stay connected.
Coach Brown, going back to De'Aaron, was there any other player in your coaching career where you had to instill that they could take that leap to the next level? Of course, many of us seen De'Aaron play, for a few years before you got here, but it just seemed that you have instilled that confidence in him to not only take that leap, but to play consistently.
Well, it's part of my job. If you feel like you have that in front of you, or that player has it in front of you, is to instill belief in them, not just not just in your team, but in the individuals as well. And Foxy is probably the easiest guy that I've had to instill belief in, because I've seen it. I said the story many times. I saw it when he was in high school. I was just like, whoa, this kid at the time he's a kid, this kid has a chance to be freaking great. Not just offensively because of his speed, that's what everybody thinks, but on both ends of the floor, he has a chance to be freaking great. And so that to me was a no-brainer. It's an easy sell for anybody, and he's the one that's taking the leap or taking the bull by the horn and getting after it to propel himself and this team to the level that we need to, so he can start getting recognition. Because I'm also a firm believer too, if your team's not winning, it doesn't mean as much, because somebody on your team has to score 25. Somebody on your team has to score 20 or do certain things, because that's just the way the business is. But if you're doing that while helping your team win at the highest level, especially when your team hadn't won at the highest level, that should mean something to everybody watching the game, or that understands the game of basketball.
Hey, Mike, over here in the back. How do you balance wanting to approach this game with a playoff mentality and everything that comes with it, while also knowing that it's not the playoffs, there is another game regardless if you win or lose tonight?
You just tell the truth. Our guys know that, they know what's in front of them, just like I'm sure New Orleans does too. And so it's a pretty easy balance just to tell them the truth, tell them what's in front of them, and what they already probably know, and then keep it moving.
Mike, I just spoke with Vegas. De'Aaron has the second longest odds to be MVP of the in-season tournament. So if that's any solace, that's where we are with that right
I
now.
like hearing that, but that does not move the
Okay,
needle with me.
all right,
I
I
like
tried.
hearing it though. I do like hearing it.
I'm doing my
Yes,
homework.
I appreciate it. Keep doing it. I appreciate it, Mark.
How do you navigate your decision-making, double or not, that kind of thing, on Zion Williams, as unique as he is on the offensive end?
Mainly feel the game and what's happened in the past, and then you also watch other people, how they defend them, and you take an idea from this person, an idea from that person. But when you talk about, he's young, but he's still a handful. And when you talk about great players or players that have a unique skill set, especially like he does at his size, you can't just give him a steady diet of one thing. And then on top of that, at the end of the day, he's probably gonna get his. You just hope that he has to work on both ends of the floor while he's getting his, and that you can do a decent job on others. The tough part that poses a lot of problems with New Orleans is, they got more than a couple of guys that can go get it. McCollum's used to getting it. Ingram's used to getting it. Valanciunas in his own way is used to getting it. So they got some guys, and then they got shooting on top of that with length and size. So they pose a problem for not just us, but anybody in this league.
Coach, what kind of atmosphere are you expecting out there tonight, and how loud do you think it's going to be inside the arena?
Nothing but the best. That's what our fans are. So we don't expect anything less. They've been doing that from day one since I got, even before I got here. You came in here and you knew you were gonna get it from the fans no matter what. So we expect that tonight too.
Mike, you've been playing Fox and Monk more together this year. What do you like about when those two share the floor together?
It's kind of funny because I played them basically the same last year. I don't know what the minutes were, at least
Like
on
3 more minutes.
on my substitution sheet, I guess, or on my rotation sheet that I put together that I never follow before the game. It's basically, with those two, it's basically the same, and it just kind of works out that way by gut feel. Like down the stretch, if I felt Malik is giving it to us, if I felt he's giving it to us on both ends of the floor, then he may play down the stretch. And he's probably played down the stretch a little more this year than last year. But on my sub sheet, it's basically the same. And obviously it is just a tough combo to guard because both can handle the ball. And most teams, they don't have two guys that can guard the ball screen, on the floor like that, because if you do, that means you're putting quote unquote two defensive guys out there, and it may be a little hard for you to score. Yada, 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 especially if you got Domas out there and a couple other shooters. So it's the same on my sub sheet, but because of how we've ended games, he's on the floor a little bit more probably.
Hey, Coach, slight change of speed here, but Stockton's had a homestand for a little while. How often are you able to keep up with them, and can you just speak to the importance of having a successful developmental team?
Yeah, I mean, I try to watch every game I can. It's hard for me to get down there. But we've had coaches go down to Stockton and watch the game, and obviously our players are down there. But it's huge. You look at Keon, and Keon developed last year into a player to where now he's getting backup minutes at the point guard spot. He started 2 games for us, and we won it. One against a Portland Trail Blazers team, another against Oklahoma City, which is ahead of us in the standings. So getting guys the opportunity to go down there and play significant minutes and work on their craft, but more importantly, gain confidence is huge. And it took a little bit, but you're really thankful that the NBA decided to go the direction of having a true minor league system or developmental system, because it has paid dividends for a lot of players in this league. And another that I coached in Jordan Poole, he got sent to the bubble for 3 months, or the G League bubble, and that's when he gained his confidence and exploded. And so, like I said, Keon's a great example. It's great for Colby. It's great for Jordan. It's great for Jalen. So all of our guys to go down there and get a little taste, it's a big thing.
Is the game prep for tonight, is the game prep for tonight just like a typical regular season game, regular type film, or is it more advanced?
For the most part, it's regular. With a playoff series, you got a lot of time, and it's a 7-game series. So this is kind of one and done. So you don't necessarily have a ton of time to throw a lot of film at them because you don't want their mind clogged. Probably the biggest difference is that one of the biggest differences we put 3 or 4 examples up of the type of things that you can win, that you can purchase if you win. And today, I think Dutch put up. I don't remember the exact number, but it might have been like you could purchase 132,000 bags of beignets to hand out to people if you wanted to. That was one. I can't remember the other one was you could buy, I think, 3,000 or 300 Popeyes franchises if you want. And then we talked about Junior Bridgman and him only making at most $300,000 in a season, and now he's worth $700 million. By the way, Junior, if you're out there, can you come speak to my team, please? Because your story is freaking great. It's awesome. So we do stuff like that just to put it in perspective and let the guys understand this is a little different.
What did you do poorly on Zion in the 2 games?
A lot. As a staff, we didn't do a good job with our guys. We obviously wanted to double team. Our double teams didn't get there in time. Our rotations out didn't get there in time. We let him go left, and he can go either direction, but he prefers to go left, and he's a heck of a finisher. And like I said, and we may not, we're not going to stop the guy. We just want the guy to work a little harder to get his buckets, and he didn't have to work much. We made him work a little bit on the offensive end towards the end of the game because we finally just said, hey, look, we can't stop you, so you're going to have to defend a little bit, brother. And so we made him work a little bit, but other than that, he kind of had his way with us. And I take the blame for that.
Mike, similar question to that. I mean, to see them twice recently, how much does that help you to kind of recognize like where you had issues in those matchups, and how much does it help you to make some adjustments for tonight?
It helps a lot seeing them. You look at a guy like Steph, and we've seen him a lot. We've made some adjustments, and dude still gets 30. You just hope that you can be tight in other areas of your game and against other people. So again, I go back to we're not going to stop Zion. We just hope to make him work, and then when he has to work, we hope that CJ doesn't get 30 and Brandon Ingram gets 35, because if they do, and then this guy gets 12 and that guy gets 8, and they're really efficient scoring, then we're in trouble. So for us, are we going to double team? It's no secret we're going to double team him from time to time, but we can't do it the whole game because he'll get a rhythm throughout the course of the game. So we have to try to throw the kitchen sink at him just to mix up coverages. But in the same breath, like I said, you can't forget about Brandon Ingram. You can't forget about C.J. McCollum or Valanciunas, because those guys are they're more than capable of busting the game wide open.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank y'all.
Thank